everybody, welcome. I'm Howie Howard from Mr. Furious Records. Today's musical adventure on Dat Fury Radio. Guest Ross Williams is sharing some new music. What's up, Ross?
Hey, Howie. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, too. So you've done something you're about to release, or you have released as of next Tuesday, September 25th. Will this be out yet?
I'm releasing it this Friday, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
So it will be out. Where will it be out at?
Everywhere. It's going to be on Bandcamp and all the streaming platforms. So,
is that the Wild Eye Bandcamp, or are you doing a new one?
This is going to be a new one, Ross Taylor Williams, and the single's actually already on it. So
there we go.
Yeah.
RossTaylorWilliams.bandcamp.com. Link in the description. But a new project, and I'm guessing. So this sounds very different than previous stuff you've released, but I'm guessing due to your guitar teacher and other stuff, it's not as different in terms of what you've played over your lifetime.
Honestly, I feel like it's a completely new thing. It's completely fresh. Yeah. So, most of my life, I have kind of thought of myself as an electric guitarist, or as a songwriter. So electric guitar, Hendrix, Clapton school is what I would say. Blues dude. And songwriting, just sort of, I don't know, Crosby, Stills and Nash. Whatever eclectic mix of stuff I listened to when I was like 15 to 25.
Sure. Most of us have that story, yeah.
Yeah. But this music, I had never aspired to be an instrumental acoustic guitarist. This was never even on my radar. But I always loved, I still love the avant-garde. I love interesting music in any form. And what kind of got me on this path initially was Thurston Moore. I'm a big Sonic Youth fan. And there was this Thurston Moore, I think it was like an article or something he shared that he wrote on, with somebody. And it was 5 acoustic guitarists that he was really into at the moment. And this guy, Jack Rose, was one of them. And I had heard of like American Primitive Music, John Fahey, people like that. And I like that stuff. I thought it was pretty good. But this Jack Rose, when I heard him, the energy was just huge. And it changed me, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, he has this record
called Jack Rose, R-O-S-E, like the flower?
Like the 2 main characters in the Titanic. Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. He has this record called Kensington Blues that is a great nod to Fahey, but like is completely its own thing. Mm-hmm. And also, so his playing is transcendental. He has a way of he has a certain intensity and weight to his playing that I had never heard before. And also the actual, like, the sonic quality of his guitar, the way that it was recorded for that album, I had never encountered before. It just sounded so big. Mm-hmm.
And you, I think, like, that was an important part of your project, right? Because it does have a nice, like, wide stereo image. Sometimes I can't even tell if it's 6 or 12 string because there's so much going on in the upper register. Like, I can't pick out the octaves of a 12, but it feels rich like a 12.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you said that, man, because that's exactly what I'm going for. And that's the thing that I'm bringing up Jack Rose because sonically that was the touch point for me, is that kind of mix of 12 and 6, getting the unison strings, the lower tunings, and that emotional weight basically from the jump and everything. So he was a big inspiration for that. I don't know if you know Gwenifer Raymond. She's kind of like, I would call her like the current torchbearer of the Fahey line. She calls her music Welsh primitive, which I think is a nice nod. Her newest record, it's called Last Night I Heard the Dog Star Bark. Her playing is amazing. She's a world-class guitarist, but sonically, the size of the guitar is immense. Just, I've never heard one guitar sound that big. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's tremendously inspiring. I come from like a rock background. I like huge music that gets your adrenaline pumping, you know? And it's so cool when you hear introverts make music that does that, but in an introverted way, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, those two artists are probably the most influential in terms of the sonics and the emotional style. However, they're both fingerstyle guitar players. So I decided in making this music that I tried I can play fingerstyle, but what was alive for me was just leaning into what I was already good at. So taking the techniques of the electric guitar, appropriating them to the acoustic guitar, so using my pick, but then learning how to be an acoustic guitarist. Mm-hmm. So studying bluegrass, studying acoustic guitar styles like Fahey and, like I said, all the other musicians before. So honoring, the medium of the instrument that I'm playing, and honoring my strengths. And I think through that, I created something at least new to me, which is this style of instrumental guitar with a pick. It's kind of has some bluegrass elements, but it's really, to me, it feels like it comes from rock music. Mm-hmm. It feels like it comes from Sonic Youth somehow. To me, in my heart, it feels like it comes from blues music. But I wasn't necessarily like playing any licks from any particular traditions. I was just sort of composing in the spirit of those styles. I guess is
definitely
what I would say.
It feels very fresh. I'm glad you dropped a bunch of references, because I would not have the two guitarists specifically I'm not familiar with, so I'm looking forward to checking them out. And a lot of the other ones I would not have guessed. So that's great. And I'm happy to be to learn that I was wrong about kind of my hypothesis that this maybe grew out of teaching or something you had a longer history with, that this is really as fresh philosophically and compositionally as it sounds acoustically. And I think with all that said, we should let the listeners hear some music. This is going to be Earth Song, and I'm going to propose, Ross, that we let the whole thing play. And I've got multiple reasons for that, but I'm guessing you're down. So here is Earth Song on Dat Fury Radio.
Let's go! Let's get it! Woo! That's the one.
I love so much that that's in there.
Yeah, man. I mean, God, recording every one of these songs. So every song is one take. It's a one take all the way through, one performance. With the exception of one song, I did overdub the ending. I did get the performance I wanted originally, but just too squeaky. Too many squeaks. That's the thing with acoustic guitar. So I did a less squeaky take or ending. But yeah, you know, man, the thing that I've learned with this recording style is it is really, really hard. You really have to earn that performance, and you can rehearse up to the point of recording and have it down. But then when that red light's on, it's a different game, and everything that you do becomes the recording, you know? And when you finally get that take that you believe in, God, it feels like a slam dunk, feels like scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I mean, honestly, like that, I just erupted with that. Like that just came right out, and it just felt so alive in that moment. And as a musician, as an artist, like that's what I'm trying to share. I'm trying to share my aliveness. I'm trying to share my excitement. And it felt right to leave that in. Absolutely.
For sure. No, I think it sets it helps paint the picture for the listener. Like it implies something about the process and just the one take, or, you know, not maybe multiple take, but like the one performance, like picking.
Oh, that's one take, dude. That's
yeah,
one
sorry,
all the way through. Yeah.
But you might have recorded a bunch of takes, right? And then you pick the one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And something about that, like even if you don't know, if you haven't recorded, or like something about that very human moment, I think communicates an understanding of the process that something special has happened here. And, you know, this wasn't made in a lab. This wasn't spliced together on the computer. Like there was a person in a room who did this, which is very cool.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about composition, because it's, you know, it's not really, there's kind of themes, but there's not really like sections and a lot of repeating, or like it kind of is evolving and morphing constantly. And that's true of most of the songs on the project.
Yeah. You know, for me, what makes this record so fresh is it's really rooted in this paradigm shift that I had writing the last song on the record. It's called Moon Song. And as I was writing that song, I had this moment, you know, like I said, I had never really pictured myself as an acoustic guitarist or even an acoustic musician. But I found myself writing stuff that was cool. I just turned the tuning keys until I got a cool tuning, like Sonic Youth or somebody like that. And I started writing stuff, and but I was still trapped in this paradigm of viewing myself as a songwriter. And so I was thinking in terms of verse, you know, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, basically, you know. And how can I get these 8 or 16 bars to repeat again? But that's not what this music does, you know, especially when you don't sing. And I realized that, you know, I like songwriting, but this felt way more resonant with kind of how I view myself as an artist. And that I don't know if these words mean anything to anyone else, you know, but I realized that I'm a composer. I'm not a songwriter, or a smaller part of me is a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I began to think of my songs as compositions, like in the classical sense, or in the traditional folk sense as well, you know, it really opened things up to, oh, okay, things don't have to just repeat over and over again. This is not about repeating hooks. This is about evolving motifs. So I could take a melody or even a riff, and I can play it once for 4 bars, and then I can never play it that way again, as long as it's evolving and changing. And as long as I'm cluing in, well, to be honest, as long as I'm happy. But I think that, you know, when I'm happy, the listener is also following along and interested, because I'm taking a motif, either it's a melody or sometimes it's just a rhythm, and I'm evolving it throughout, you know, and that's the kind of music that I like listening to. I like listening to things with depth, that respects the listener. You know, as a fan of music, I know what a hook is. I don't have to hear it over and over again. Unless you're Terry Riley, in which I would say play it as many times as you want, baby. Give me that in C. Give me a rainbow in curved air or whatever. You know, the minimalist composers. But yeah,
I understood those references.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Terry Riley, Steve Reich. These are people that have been very influential on me as well. Maurice Ravel as well.
Have you heard the guy that did the music for 4 musicians on his own, like in 2021 or so?
Steve Reich?
Ringing any bells?
No,
I can't think of the artist's name right now. Okay, this is a flag mostly for myself to send to you when we're done, but I'll put it in the links for the listeners too. There's a guy who did an amazing music for 4 musicians, just solo in his studio with what he had, and just it's so lively, even though obviously he was overdubbing, you know, himself a million times.
I can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to hear it.
I'll dig it up for you.
Yeah, but yeah, like just realizing that you know, I don't have to repeat myself. Like I just have to evolve this music. And then as I was writing Moonsong, I just realized that I have to trust this process. And what this process is really is just a kind of emotional resonance with whatever's coming out. And I don't have to intellectualize that at all. I just have to play, or I actually wrote a lot of sheet music for this as well as part of the writing process. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so I would write the guitar parts on my computer without a guitar in my hand, and see if I liked it, and then learn it. And that was a big part of the process as well. But basically, like, just really honoring that that authentic, like, kind of ecstatic feeling of, man, this is amazing, and then not referencing anything, just, do I like this? And I know that sounds very basic, but I mean, you're a musician, Howie. You know how it is. Like, it's so easy to reference things or put that validation externally.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's really easy to chase a sound you aspire to, or feel boxed in by a genre or a pop song structure or a metal song structure or whatever. Like, there's all these hazards that can keep us from that ecstatic experience.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it became quite spiritual for me, if I'm being honest. Just, it became a devotion to, I didn't realize that this thing that I love, which is so funny, this thing that I love and have devoted my life to, I didn't realize that it could feel this way. That it is actually much, much deeper than even what I had experienced up to that moment. And once I experienced that, it just there was no going back. Like, this is how I'm making music from now on, you know?
And do you think maybe you had that sense unconsciously all along?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why you were chasing it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's time for a celebration.
I agree. guess what I would say is, this is just me rocking out. This is like more of, I think this was the second song I wrote on the record. And it's just more of that joy, following that joy.
The call and response there is so important, I think, for a solo instrument performance to find a way to get call and response out of an instrument. And you've got, there's a riff that leads into a chord thing, into another riff. And that's where a lot of solo instrumental music, I think, can kind of get lost and not have a lot of call and response, but you're very good at it on this project.
Well, I had to find my way with it, to be honest. It came out of necessity. All the guitarists that I like are fingerstyle guitarists. So it's just kind of my way of mimicking polyphony, basically, Mm-hmm. Picture this riff as it's like the knight returns to the kingdom after some big mission, and that riff is like the trumpets blasting.
Outstanding. Do you want to talk gear a little bit? You want to talk about the setup?
Yeah, sure. Might be a pretty short conversation.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, so I used 2 acoustic guitars for this record. One of them is a Takamine that I got forever ago. I've had it, for at least 15 years, I think. I can't even remember the model name. It's one of those catchy Takamine model names with a bunch of letters and numbers. But it's pretty nice. I got it at Supersonic Music here in Lawrence. And then the other guitar, I used the Takamine on Celebration, the track you just heard. And then I used this Sigma guitar on Earth Song. The Sigma is a really interesting guitar. I can't remember the exact model name, but it's basically like the Sigma version of a Martin D28. Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting guitar because it is made in the United States, or so they claim. So they only did this with this line for like a year or something. And after I got it on Marketplace, I found out that there's only like 1,500 of them or something that have been made. Which that's pretty sick. I'd rather have a Martin. I'd rather, if somebody wants to trade their Martin, I'm down. I'm not a collector, I'm a player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's got a good sound. So those are the two main guitars. I'm as many musicians in our income bracket are. I'm just recording in basically a rectangle. So I invested in some acoustic treatment, made most of it myself. Highly recommend. I think that's pretty much a must if you're interested in being a prosumer musician. And then in terms of microphones, I used a Roswell Audio Mini K47. That's what this mic is. It's a large diaphragm condenser. Shouldn't have tapped on it. Sorry. Into an Audient ID44 interface, and that's actually on the body, like the lower bout, just behind the bridge of the acoustic. And then and it's pointed. I mean, it's probably like maybe 8 inches away.
So pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to minimize reflections, basically. 8 to 10, but and then pointed at the joint, so where the neck meets the body, is a kind of like 45 degree to the sound hole. Is an SM57. A 57. It's going into a UA Solo 610 tube pre, cranked to get that tubey goodness.
Sure.
And that's, I kind of wanted to get it. It's kind of I don't know. I've never recorded a mic at that angle before, but I tried to get, more bass in the response. I mean, I spent quite a while experimenting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, recording acoustic, and especially when you're not just like, it's not just a layer in a bigger track, right? Like,
yeah,
when it is everything.
Yeah.
Oh, mic placement on an acoustic. It's one of the trickiest and most...
Yes.
It's one of the instruments that is most dependent on placement. You can get so many different sounds.
Yeah.
And so many different problematic sounds.
Absolutely.
On your mic placement.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I started this interview talking about acoustic guitar sounds, because first of all, they affected me emotionally, like so immediately. But also because they're so unique. I've never heard the guitar so big like that. Usually it's so thin, and it's mostly a percussion instrument. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really define the tonality or the harmony of the song in the way that like a keyboard might or a bass might, So yeah, I probably spent like a month, maybe more, maybe like 6 weeks on every night, just like experimenting with where I'm going to put my stool in the room. Mm-hmm. Figuring out where I can get, because there's always going to be resonance and room modes in rooms like the one that I'm in. Yeah. So figuring out where the room modes are and kind of getting away from them or finding a pleasing way to include them. And then, once I really wanted the condenser to be the star of the show, but I realized that I wasn't going to get any bass with it, with the 57 on the body. So I had to switch them up. And once I did, I realized, that they actually go pretty well together. The punch of the 57, with all the note kind of articulation of that upper side of the guitar combined with the bass that the condenser can capture, and then just hard panning them left and right really gives you a wide sound, like you said.
So that's the stereo image. There's not like another set of room mics or anything?
No, that's it. Yeah, I didn't want to get...
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want to get any room. That's the thing. I had... so I have these, like... they're like 2 feet by 4 feet, maybe. These big rectangle... You can kind of see one back here. But they're like 4 inches deep. I have 2 of these big panels, and I kind of set them in like a V shape on either side of me. and then put the mics kind of inside of this little bubble that I created, basically. Because I just didn't want the sound of this room to be a limiting factor in having a great sound, you know?
That makes a lot of sense. And even the mic setup, I never would have guessed it, but like it makes a lot of sense once you explained it. But I never would have guessed that there wasn't an additional, like when you're talking about the 57, I'm like, okay, but like when are we going to get to the XY? You've got to have a pair out there somewhere to get that.
I would love to have done that.
So surprised.
Yeah, the Gwenifer Raymond setup that she did, I nerded out on that, and she was actually kind enough to respond to some messages that I sent her on Instagram. So shout out to her for that. But she does a single 414 at the 12th fret or something like that, and then she does small diaphragms as the room. And I would love to try that setup because I'm such a big fan of the way that she got her guitar recorded, but I just don't have the room for it, to be honest.
Yeah. You know what you need to do, Ross? You need to check out Sound and Vision for a day and do it down there.
I used to work there.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
I love that place. I learned a lot about how different mics sound and all that stuff. One of the lessons that I learned from that is don't underestimate certain brands, dude. I know that sounds silly, but we kind of get into the internet forum mindset a little bit too much, and we catalog what people say about mics before we hear them. And I gotta tell you, dude, Shure, just like basic ass Shure microphones, they make amazing condensers. And I would love, honestly, if I could have just Shure mics, I probably would do it. I think they make great gear.
Really good bang for buck. I actually, way back when I first started recording in 2002, I bought the entry-level Shure drum mic package. And the overhead, it wasn't the most basic level was kick and like 3 tom snare mics. Yeah. And then the next level included a pair of PG81 small diaphragm condensers.
I'm sure they were great.
And I got the best drum sounds.
Yeah.
And when those PG81s went with a buddy, and we had bought them together, and they went with Scott when we divvied up the gear. And I've been chasing that drum sound ever since.
Isn't that so funny? Yeah. Yeah, dude. At the library, they have these. It's the KSM 27 is the model. It's not even the highest. It's not even the nicest mic that they have, even from Shure at the library. I think they're like $500 new, but they sound amazing. They're so neutral, and that might sound silly, but if you're into mics, that is a category that a lot of people are after.
I did some drums at the library for an album called V for Voice.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I used the exact mics you're talking about.
I've heard that album. That's a good record.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, we talked about I asked you opened, right? Or I asked you to?
I think I was at that release show. Yeah, I think I played that. Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. Always a pleasure to connect. We need to play some more music for the music listeners.
Let's do it. Yeah,
that's gonna be Prairie Grass. But I had another story I was gonna tell you. Let me try and bring it back to mind. Yeah, it's gone, but we're hearing some of that bluegrass influence here.
Indeed we are, yeah.
lovely. It's really easy just to sit and listen with the motif-driven composition, right? Because there's just never a place to jump in. It just keeps doing its thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I should mention Andy McKee is another really big influence of mine. So Andy McKee, fingerstyle guitarist. He kind of it wasn't just him, but like he's kind of the guy that popularized in terms of YouTube and modern culture the drumming on the guitar and the finger tapping and stuff. He makes amazing music. I was fortunate enough to grow up with his music. He is a native Topecan like me, and he was like playing it. But I mean, I knew him before he was famous. If you look him up, I mean, this guy has like millions of hits on YouTube. He's world famous. Toured with Prince, toured with Dream Theater. Huge in the music world. Anyway, I went to his shows at like a coffee shop with like 10 other people sometimes, and he was like still figuring out how to play these songs live, and I never thought that would be an influence on me, because it was just sort of ambient in my life. But looking back, I feel incredibly fortunate to have been around an artist who is so singular in his voice and was so developed before finding success, and was a composer, and used the guitar as his outlet for that. And I feel like Prairie Grass is it's probably the most McKee-like song that I've written. And I really owe him a debt of gratitude for just kind of being not just being a performer, but like being active in the music community in Topeka and speaking to kids like me as I was learning guitar about like what it takes to actually be a guitarist of that level. And I took a lot from that.
Yeah, everything we encounter kind of goes in and percolates and waits for its moment to kind of come forward, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's all in there. Let me jump back and just for contrast or whatever. The best recorded acoustic guitar sound I've ever gotten was on a project called An Evening at Home with Howie and Scott. It was like a mid-summer 2020, everyone's at home project. And we did some of the V for Voice songs and some of the older ones, like split screen, right?
Okay.
We all remember that. But it was just, the mic was a little Blondie, which is a tiny little small diaphragm condenser. It's about the size of a 9-volt battery.
Nice.
But it has this amazing bass response. And the guitar was my classical guitar. It was my first guitar. It's like a 70s Alvarez, just like a student model, I think. I don't really know anything about the model, but I don't think it's anything fancy. But it's the guitar I learned on.
Okay.
Right, sitting in front of the computer, like plucking out tabs that were mostly incorrect. Back, well, I won't say when. Yeah, just so I was in my laundry room, but it was like I had a carpet down and was sitting on the floor with my back to the couch, and there's like lots of shelves that are full of stuff. So it was oddly kind of a reasonably deadened and dispersed space.
Mm-hmm.
And I set it out straight out in front of me, pointed straight at the joint, probably more like 18 inches. And that was what I've always loved about this guitar, is the bass response and the way it just resonates up toward me when I
Awesome.
play it, and chords, just strumming a chord and letting it ring, and a extended harmony and just kind of letting those harmonics bubble around me.
Yeah.
And this was the only time I've ever captured anything close to it. But it got like reasonably close to what it feels like to play that guitar, which I was super happy to capture.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and get Break On Through Dude going.
Yeah, this one was a gift. I thought I was done with the record, and then I recorded this. Yeah.
So you recorded this like within the last week or something?
Yeah, last week.
Amazing. Say more about the timing, and I think so. You do have a deadline. You want to get this out on a certain date. It is out now, as listeners hear this episode, because you have shows coming up, right? Are we in time to promote the shows?
The 21st and the 22nd. So no.
We missed them. You must be very good at holding physically still while you play, because with that mic setup, the like phase issues.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. Yeah.
Outstanding. The project, does this have a title? What's the album title?
The title of this song is Break On Through, dude.
Right.
The title of the album is Earth Music.
Earth Music. Earth Music by Ross Taylor Williams. Out now wherever you stream, or at rosstaylorwilliams.bandcamp.com is the preferred place. Ross will be back next week to share a few more songs. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will catch you next week on Dat Fury Radio.